continuing with Mega Man 2, we are taking on Dr. Wily's castle. This one probably is the favorite of myself and the internet in general for music in just about the whole Mega Man series, at least that I'm familiar with and that I played. This is a piece of music you'll hear covered by every video game shred metal band. But it just can't get enough of this music. This music is fantastic in this level, and it's long, the longest piece that we hear in the game, outside of maybe the intro or exit music in these, which are always very theatrical. But the action of this is so great, and it is fun to hear when usually it's the metal guitar bands that will do it, or little techno DJ mixers that will play this one. But it's fantastic. And because it goes so long without repeating, I haven't timed it out, but it's about 2 minutes without repeating before it comes back up. Maybe it's just a full minute, or a little more than a full minute, but the separate parts that this piece has is wonderful. So we need to use some of our movement weapons, or our movement items in this one, item 1, 2, and 3. Here I'm spamming this thing that spits out, the energy thing. Just trying to refill my energy on the sub weapons and my movement items, because we need to use those quite a bit in this and the coming stages. I did not include in Wily 1 all of my practice runs and dying on this, because there's a few really tricky movement spots here that if you're not prepared for them, they're going to be difficult to make. So I did include all of that extra nonsense there. So try and farm, but I'll get my 1-up. Beautiful. And then, what's a Mega Man to do? No, better go back. Climb up to that next screen, and again, you can see me experimenting and playing around a little bit. With this, we'll recharge, and then we'll make it up to the next screen. So we'll take our item 3, climb the walls, out of the room. Okay, continuing on. We get a few chances to recharge. So the Wily's castle goes in a few stages. We take on stage 1 and 2 in this video, and then there's 3 and 4, and then of course we will face Dr. Wily himself later on. There are bosses at the end of each of these Wily stages, so we'll fight the boss of this stage and then Wily 2 when we get there. That they are unique and new bosses. We will see the same robot masters that we fought before again, but not for a little while. Recording inside today. On the day that I am recording this in Dublin, there are gale force winds and rain in the forecast throughout the entire country of Ireland today. God, this music is great. So today's going to be a totally inside day for me. It's not raining currently right now, but rain is forecast, but the gale force winds are certainly out there. There's all kinds of sea warnings on the radio for sailors who happen to have to be out on the North Atlantic this morning, and safe home to them. Right here, this is a pretty difficult spot. I failed that a lot of times in my practice for this run. I did nail it there, so I didn't have to fall all the way back down to the screen and then back up, back down to the screen and back up. So that was lucky for me and for anyone watching this video. And just when you're playing this one, I don't want these levels to end. The music is so great. And it's an interesting choice of them to have this music as the music that takes over after you've beaten the robot masters. I just think that's it's an interesting choice because you can't access it. Here's our boss of Wily 1, the big robot dragon. He's susceptible to the quick boomerang. I position myself on that top rung, and even if I take a hit, I just get knocked back onto the next platform below. And again, this is, if you haven't watched from the beginning on these, I am playing it on the normal mode, which is the easy mode. So normal is easy in this one, and then hard mode, things just have more health and aren't damaged as easily. So we saw this same graphic before. We'll go on to Wily 2. Back to that music. So they could have kept that music. We have a hiccup there as I cut these two together. Sorry about that. Cutting movies is not easy on my slow, chunky computer. I know that's no excuse for bad production, but it's what it is. Notice we did not get a weapon refill or recharge between beating that boss and this next one. You have to carry over your weapons energy all the way out to the end. So you have to be really careful about how you use that energy, and when you power up, you have to get everything set correctly. And you can do what I'm doing a little bit here. If I could do it more skillfully, we'd be in better shape of farming those power-ups a little bit by facing these guys. It's a little easier to get the health power-ups than it is to get those sub-weapon power-ups. So, at least for me, it's worth it to farm a little bit to get everything charged back up. I'm resisting temptation to sing along with this. If I was in a metal band, Iron Maiden-style 80s metal shred band, I'd be definitely doing a cover of this one. You can hit the internet. The internet's for any of those. So we have a long spike pit here. Item 2 takes me across. And again, they're forcing you to use these items. Got to nail that jump, and I get a little bit better track through the level. If I'd taken that first jump, it's a little bit safer, but you get a little more difficult track through the level. This takes a little bit longer, so if I was speedrunning this, take more time climbing down these, but I get to avoid facing those enemies, and I can power myself up here. Get a hit with that metal blade. And again, the angled shots on the metal blade. Crucial. Crucial, crucial, crucial. Now to get through these, I have to use my crash bombs to get the 1-up and the E-tank down there. And thankfully they give me a little recharge on that. I'll need these crash bombs much later. There we go. Trying not to hop down and signal the next screen. And this is a game that, even with on this easy mode, without using save states and things like which I do, I try not to leave those in on videos. But when training and practicing, I'll leave those in. And here I'm recharging my weapon energy. These drill people are easy. These drill enemies are easy to farm. But this is a game that you could just sit down and play through and play through and play through and play through when you're a kid. And just get good at it. Just practice and get good at these stages. And be able to just hop right through. And the unlimited continues, and the password system lets you advance through and continue on. And just that's a well-designed game. And then if you needed the extra difficulty, if you wanted to show off for the dudes over at the sleepover party, you could switch it over to hard mode and show them bouncing through. So my most played Mega Man in my young years was Mega Man 4, because that's what the local rental shop happened to have. But I do remember a particular sleepover at someone's place who had Mega Man 3, and that entire sleepover was spent playing through that game on the NES with, of course, without save states, which we don't have the patience for anymore, really, to play these games without save states to help us through tough paths or to practice tricky spots and levels without playing whole levels. We just kept working, kept grinding, passing that controller around. Someone would get beat. Try it. You try it. And we did work our way all the way through, including, fighting that final boss, getting beaten up, getting it handed to us a bunch of times. And next guy try it, and we did work through it. And then, what an amazing sense of accomplishment we got after that. This part I was a little bit too timid on. I don't know if a skilled player could really work through here. We don't have Mega Man slide move yet in this game. Later games, Mega Man had an ability to do a slide where he could get underneath things and he could move a little bit more quickly than his regular steps. So this also gets in these complex levels on a technical part of the game. I should have just damage boosted right through there, just taken the invincibility and worked through. The NES, and in my case the NES emulator, has a hard time processing all of the action that's happening on the screen because there's so many moving things and so many sprites. Here's the boss of Wily 2. We're here all the way. That gets quite flashy as the game is trying to process Mega Man's character, enemies moving, background elements moving, and it starts to flash because the NES cannot show too many sprites on the screen at any given time, so they skip frames where a sprite will go away or it'll only show up every other frame. So that's when things start to get flashy. It'll actually go away for a frame. This is something I saw on description. Bosses like this, and you see I got close, but wasn't actually able to seal the deal, so we'll back up a little bit. This is one of those Ace Ventura, this is a lovely room of death bosses. The boss is the room, and the next game that we'll do in this series also has a couple of this is a lovely room of death bosses. Trying to charge up, still farming that because again, your enemy or your weapons don't carry over, or they don't get recharged. Their energy does carry over. So you start to see some blocks missing in Mega Man that appear on the same line as some of the enemies. The NES had a sprite limit where it couldn't show too much. So this game does get flashy, and there are later Mega Man games that get quite laggy also, where the processor just can't keep up with everything in the game. The computing of the game just bogs down, and that's something that I didn't really notice on NES so much when I was a little guy. I saw that more on games like Nintendo 64. Specifically, I remember playing GoldenEye. If you had 4-player GoldenEye and on the power weapons mode, if everybody had the weapon, the RCP-90, which everyone knows on GoldenEye, if everyone used that weapon, it was a machine gun that shot bullets at a really, really fast rate. If you had all 4 of those players in the same room with the RCP-90, I remember that the system would lag down so much because it was trying to track 4 players worth of RCP-90 bullets firing out at this rate, and the game had to track where all of those bullets were going for these 4 characters in the same room, and then put it on the 4-player split screen of GoldenEye. And that was just way too much for that poor Nintendo 64 to handle. And I played that mode and saw that as recently as, look at that, we made it through. Didn't have to be so cautious before. We're learning. I played that as recently as college, which I guess was a while ago for me. That was the last time I played 4-player GoldenEye. But it was incredible to see that as an adult, almost an adult when you're in college. Not quite adult in my opinion. Anyway, back to the lovely room of death. The 2 blocks come out, they form the little enemy. You just have to dodge them, launch them. That was the first time I faced it before. I didn't have the pattern down yet. They'll damage you, the pieces, and then of course they damage you, and if you let them stay in existence long enough, they'll shoot a projectile at you, but I'm able to take them out quickly enough, and using the metal blade, which is a very efficient weapon that does not use much energy. So the lovely room of death is defeated. Next week we will continue on to Stage 3 of Wily's Fortress.